My friends, listen to me not merely with your ears, but with the deep hearing of your spirit. For what I bring is no ordinary sentence. This is a word from heaven, a sacred summons, a holy proclamation issued from the throne of the Most High. God is far from finished with you. God has not abandoned you. God has not overlooked your prayers. What looks like a postponement is actually divine preparation. What feels like silence is part of a holy strategy. God is poised to astonish you, not by affliction, not by more struggle, not by the same old pattern, but by a favor so weighty, so overwhelming, so unmistakable, that it will bring you to tears and make your knees tremble. You will not simply receive a blessing, you will be left breathless. Because when God acts, He does not act in small measures. When He opens a way, it does not creak, it swings wide open. When He lifts you up, it is in a manner beyond human explanation or claim. And when He bestows favor, it comes pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. That is exactly what is being prepared for you, not because of who you are, but because of who God is. God is faithful. God is merciful. God is powerful. And when He decides to favor someone, no devil in hell, no force on earth, and no mistake of your past can stop it. There is someone listening right now who has cried in secret for far too long. You've carried burdens in silence. You've been overlooked, underestimated, and ignored. But God saw you. God heard you. God watched you remain faithful when you could have given up. You kept trusting when it made no sense. You kept sowing when you had nothing left. And now God is saying, I am about to shock you with favor. Not just any favor, divine, supernatural, life-altering favor. The kind of favor that flips the script in a single moment. The kind that takes you from the back to the front, from last to first, from rejected to celebrated. The kind of favor that turns your mourning into dancing. You see, favor is not luck. Favor is not a coincidence. Favor is the deliberate hand of God choosing to highlight you, to lift you, to open doors for you that no man can shut. And when it's your season for favor, you don't have to manipulate. You don't have to strive. You don't have to force. It flows. God makes a way where there was no way. God makes people say yes who were ready to say no. God makes things fall into place that were falling apart. And the amazing thing is, God does it in a way that leaves no doubt. It won't be subtle. It won't be quiet. It won't be average. It will be shocking. People will look at you and say, how did that happen? They'll wonder, how did you go from forgotten to favored? And all you'll be able to say is, God did it. Because the kind of favor that's coming will be so unexpected, so extravagant, so unmatched, that no explanation will make sense except one: God. This is not a motivational cliche. This is not just another feel-good message. This is a prophetic reality for those who dare to believe that God can do the impossible. For those who refuse to settle. For those who are tired of just surviving and ready to see the glory of God unfold in their life. But hear me clearly. Favor doesn't always show up the way you expect. Sometimes favor walks in dressed as rejection. Sometimes it looks like delay. Sometimes it feels like loss. But don't be fooled. Don't be discouraged. What looks like a closed door is often the wind-up for a better one. What feels like an ending is often the setup for an elevation. God hides favor in unusual places. He hides it in disappointment to test your faith. He hides it in hardship to grow your strength. He hides it in patience to increase your reward. But when it's time for God to reveal His favor, it comes suddenly. It comes unexpectedly. It comes with such clarity and conviction that your spirit will leap inside you. You'll know this is not man's doing. You'll know this is not your skill, not your resume, not your connections. This is the favor of God. And once you receive it, everything changes. Not just your situation, but your identity, your confidence, your perspective. You begin to walk with a new strength, not from arrogance, but from assurance. The assurance that if God is for you, nothing can stand against you. God is about to put your name in rooms where your feet have never been. He's about to put your work in front of eyes you've never met. He's about to honor you publicly for what you endured privately. But you must stay positioned. You must stay faithful. You must stay expectant, because favor flows to those who are prepared. Favor is attracted to faith. God does not bless empty hope. He blesses confident trust. So don't shrink back now. Don't doubt now. Don't disqualify yourself with small thinking or past mistakes. God doesn't consult your history before declaring your destiny. What He has spoken over your life still stands. Someone needs to hear this. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not cursed. You are not abandoned. You are chosen. You are protected. You are marked for favor. And no matter how long it's been, no matter how dark it's looked, no matter how hard it's felt, your story is not over. God is just getting started. The wind is about to shift. The tide is about to turn. The doors are about to open. And when they do, it won't be just a blessing, it will be a shock. A holy shock, a divine interruption, a sudden explosion of favor. You're going to wake up and find that what was hard has become easy. What was missing has been provided. What was delayed has been released. Not gradually, but suddenly. Not barely, but abundantly. Because when God decides to favor you, He doesn't trickle it. He floods it. You won't be able to explain it. You won't even be able to understand it fully, but you'll feel it. You'll see it. You'll walk in it, because it will surround you like a shield that will go before you, behind you, and beside you. And those who tried to harm you will have no choice but to watch God honor you. This is not the time to quit. This is not the time to doubt. This is the time to praise God in advance, to prepare like the answer is on its way, to celebrate like the doors are already open, because they are in the realm of God. It is already done. The favor is already written into your story. The breakthrough is already scripted in your future. God is simply waiting for the right moment to reveal it. And when He does, it won't be partial, it will be total. It won't be small, it will be mighty. It won't just change your life, it will change generations. Your obedience has not gone unnoticed. Your integrity has not been in vain. Your tears have not been wasted. God has collected everyone. God has remembered every act of faith, and now He's preparing a table for you. Not in private, but in the presence of those who doubted you, rejected you, and mocked you. This is the season of divine reversal, where the lowly are lifted, where the last become first, where the hidden are revealed. And when God favors you, He silences every enemy without you having to say a word. You won't need to defend yourself. You won't need to beg for a seat at the table. God is building you your own. You won't need to knock down doors. God is creating entrances no man can block. You won't need to strive. God is about to make it happen with His own hand. And when He does, there will be awe. There will be amazement. People will say, that could only be God. And they'll be right. Because this kind of favor cannot be manufactured. It can only be received. So lift your head, strengthen your heart, wipe your tears. The wait is almost over. The shift is here. The signal from heaven has already been given. You are about to walk into something you didn't earn, you didn't expect, and you can't even fully imagine. God is about to shock you with favor, not because of your performance, but because of His power. Not because you deserve it, but because He delights in showing mercy. Get ready. Favor is chasing you. Favor is finding you. Favor is falling on you like rain. Heavy, undeniable, supernatural favor. You won't have room to contain it. You won't have words to explain it. All you'll be able to say is, this is God's doing, and it is marvelous in my eyes. Stay faithful. Stay obedient. Stay available, because what God is about to do for you will shock even you. And when it comes, when the breakthrough breaks through, when the favor falls like fire, when the doors burst wide open, don't forget where it came from. Don't forget who kept you, who carried you, who covered you. It was God. It has always been God. It will always be God. Hear this now. With all the weight your soul can carry, God is not limited by what limits you. God is not confined by your resources, your surroundings, or your status. What binds man has never bound God. What frustrates you cannot frustrate Him. And the moment God decides to move in your favor, every limitation bows, time submits, circumstances shift, human opinions collapse under the authority of God's plan. When God steps in, there is no contest, no opposition can stand, no strategy formed against you can prosper. Because when favor is from God, it carries divine weight. It carries holy momentum. It carries unstoppable power. There is favor coming that will not fit into your old life. God is not blessing who you were. He is favoring who He has destined you to become. That's why some connections had to end. That's why certain opportunities dried up. That's why you had to be pruned. Because the new level of favor God is bringing requires a different version of you, one that has been through the fire, one that has been trained by struggle, one that has learned to trust God when everything else was shaking. God has not given you surface favor. He is giving you refined favor. Favor that has been forged through trials, purified through perseverance, and secured by unwavering faith. You've been asking God for answers, but what He's about to give you is not just information, it's transformation. This is not a moment of insight. It's a moment of invasion where God invades your space, your situation, your destiny, and shifts it all in your favor. This favor will unlock places you thought were locked for good. It will reach places you didn't even think to ask for. It will show up in people you never imagined would help you. And it will come not because you forced it, but because God whispered it into existence. Favor is not loud. It is effective. Favor does not compete. It conquers quietly. It bypasses the systems of men and flows through the will of God. And when it lands on you, things begin to happen fast. Decisions are made quickly. Delays are removed suddenly. The resources come freely. What was difficult becomes effortless. Not because it stopped being hard, but because God started helping. That's favor. Divine assistance in impossible places. Unexpected acceleration when others are stuck. And here is the secret. Favor flows to those who are aligned with God's will, not just God's blessings. If your heart is right, if your motives are clean, if your desire is not to be seen but to serve, then get ready. God is about to endorse you in ways no person can deny. He's about to speak your name into places you've never entered. Your obedience has been noted, your integrity has been weighed, and the verdict from heaven has been rendered. Favor is being released. Not temporary favor, not conditional favor, everlasting, undeniable, purpose-driven favor. There are people who have counted you out, written you off, dismissed you. But God has kept you hidden for a reason. Because when you're hidden by God, you're being developed, not denied. And now the season of hiddenness is giving way to the season of revelation. God is about to reveal what He's been building in you. He's about to show the fruit of the seeds you planted in the dark, the reward for the prayers you prayed in silence, harvest from the ground soaked with your tears. God is not only bringing favor to your life, He's using your life to be a vessel of favor for others. The blessing He is about to pour out is not just for you to consume, it is for you to distribute. When God favors a person, He makes him a fountain, not a reservoir. So prepare to be generous. Prepare to be a deliverer. Prepare to be a carrier of God's abundance, because what is coming will be too much for just one person. It will overflow. It will pour into your household, your relationships, your children, your community. God is positioning you to be a source of provision, a light in darkness, a pillar for others to lean on. And don't make the mistake of thinking this favor is random. It is precise. God does not operate on chance. He operates by purpose. If He is favoring you, it's because He has found you faithful with little, and now He is trusting you with much. And when God trusts you, He doesn't just give you more. He surrounds you with divine protection because favor will attract attention. Favor will trigger jealousy. Favor will stir opposition. But fear not. What God gives, He guards. He will cover you as He elevates you. He will shield you while He promotes you. Favor does not exempt you from the battle, but it guarantees the victory. It means you may still face struggle, but you will overcome. You may still walk through fire, but you will not be burned. You may still hear the whispers of doubt, but they will not shake your resolve. Because when God favors you, He also fortifies you. He strengthens your spirit. He equips your hands for the climb, and He fills your heart with a peace that no storm can take away. So let your posture change. Lift your head higher. Walk with purpose. Speak with clarity. Expect with boldness. This is not the time to shrink. This is the time to stand. Not in pride, but in the confidence that comes from knowing God is on your side, that His hand is on your life, that His plan is in motion, that His favor is about to overtake you in ways you didn't see coming. Every delay was divine. Every detour was strategic. Every hardship was training. And now the season has shifted. The signs are already visible. The confirmation is already echoing in your soul. You can feel it. The pressure has been intense because the promise is massive. The warfare has been heavy because the favor is historic. But don't give in, don't give up, don't let go, because God is closer than you think, and the release is nearer than it seems. Even now, the favor is moving toward you like a wave picking up speed, gaining strength. And when it crashes into your life, nothing will look the same again. Not your finances, not your health, not your relationships, not your future. Everything will be touched by God's hand. Everything will be marked by God's favor. And it will not come through striving. It will not come through scheming. It will come through surrender. Surrender to God's timing. Surrender to God's leading. Surrender to the truth that He knows what's best and when it's best. Favor is not just about open doors. It's about divine alignment. It's about stepping into the place that was always yours, but was hidden for a time. It's about being in the right position at the right moment for the right reason. And when you are aligned with God, doors will open on their own. Opportunities will find you. The right people will come. The wrong ones will leave. Because when God favors you, everything around you begins to reflect His will. So rise up in faith, pray with new power, declare with new authority, worship with new fire, because this is not an ordinary season. This is a season of divine shocks where God proves His promises not just with words, but with wonders. Where He fulfills what He whispered in your spirit, where He brings into the physical what you've only seen in the spiritual. And it will not take long. It will not be subtle. It will be sudden. You will not have to chase it. Favor will chase you. You will not have to beg for it. Favor is already assigned to you. You will not have to force it. Favor flows naturally when your heart is surrendered to God. You've been waiting, but now favor is waiting on you. Waiting for you to believe, waiting for you to prepare, waiting for you to receive what God has been holding for the right time. This is that time. This is that moment. This is that shift. Get ready. God is about to shock you with favor that shakes the very foundations of your life. Favor that rewrites your story. Favor that restores what was stolen. Favor that establishes you where you were once broken. Favor that multiplies what you thought was finished. And all of it, every ounce, every miracle, every breakthrough will declare one thing and one thing only. This was the doing of God. Holy, mighty, merciful God. There is something divine about the way God works in silence. When everything around you seems still, when your prayers echo back without answers, when your labor looks unnoticed and unrewarded, that is not the absence of God, it is the strategy of God. For in the stillness, God is building something greater than your eyes can see. In the quiet, God is preparing a favor that speaks louder than any announcement. When God moves, He doesn't always warn you. He doesn't always explain. He doesn't need permission, and He doesn't require consensus. When it's time, He simply acts. And when God acts, the earth responds. Situations rearrange. People shift. Obstacles evaporate. And all of it points back to His sovereignty. Favor is not always about promotion. It is often about preservation. Before God elevates, He protects. Before He exalts, He shelters. And there are some blessings that didn't look like blessings at first. There are some closed doors you cried over that were actually God's mercy. There were people who walked away, and you called it rejection, but God called it redirection. If they had stayed, they would have sabotaged the next season. If that opportunity had opened too soon, it would have overwhelmed you. So God, in His wisdom, withheld not to punish, but to preserve. And that too is favor. The unseen shield, the silent rescue, the divine delay that was actually a setup for a greater unveiling. Because when God is about to shock you with favor, He starts by positioning you. He moves you out of familiar territory. He unsettles what you once relied on. He strips you of false security, not to harm you, but to teach you that favor comes from Him alone. God does not share His glory. He will not let you give credit to a job, a connection, or a circumstance. When His favor comes, you will know it was only God. Not your effort, not your charm, not your wisdom. It was the invisible hand of the Almighty placing you exactly where He designed you to be. Some of you have been walking through long seasons of barrenness, not just in your finances, but in your spirit. You've been praying, fasting, striving, and yet the door stayed closed. But what you didn't realize is that God was not denying you, He was preparing you. Because favor without maturity is a curse. Blessing without wisdom is a burden. So God had to take you through the process. He had to strengthen your discernment. He had to toughen your skin. He had to deepen your roots. So when the favor arrives, and it will, you won't crumble under the weight. You'll stand firm, unshaken, unmoved. Because you'll know this didn't come from man, it came from God. This is why your obedience matters more than ever. Because favor is drawn to obedience like a flame is drawn to the wind. It spreads, it multiplies, it intensifies. When you obey God in secret, He favors you in public. When you choose integrity over convenience, when you choose faith over fear, when you choose patience over panic, God sees it all, and He does not forget. He remembers every quiet yes, every sacrifice no one else applauded, every prayer whispered through trembling lips, every tear that fell when you chose righteousness instead of revenge. All of it has been gathered. All of it has been recorded, and the time is near where God will reward you openly for what you did faithfully in the shadows. And hear me now, the favor of God will come in unexpected ways. You may think it will show up in wealth, but it may show up in wisdom. You may expect it in status, but it may arrive as peace. You may hope for it in recognition, but it may come as protection. However it appears, trust this. When it is from God, it will satisfy your soul in ways the world never could. Because God doesn't bless you to inflate your ego. He blesses you to align you with purpose. His favor is not just about comfort, it is about calling. It's not just about elevation, it is about mission. And when God favors you, your life becomes a message. You become a living example of what it looks like when God decides to showcase His power through an ordinary vessel. And others will look at you and know it wasn't your degree, your family name, or your bank account. It was God. They will see the divine fingerprints all over your story. And even your enemies will have to admit this is something higher, something greater, something no human hand could have orchestrated. So don't be surprised when the ship begins. Don't be startled when things start happening quickly. Favor moves fast. And when the moment of release arrives, there will be no more delays. What you once struggled to access will begin to flow freely. What you chased will begin to chase you. What you feared losing will be multiplied back to you. And not because you demanded it, but because you surrendered to the one who governs the seasons. God is about to flip the script of your life. The same hands that struggled will now build. The same heart that broke will now bless. The same place where you were mocked will become the ground where God honors you. And those who thought your story was over will watch as God writes a brand new chapter in bold, undeniable favor. Favor that silences every critic. favor that wipes away debts, favor that not only restores what was taken, but multiplies beyond what you imagined. And here's the most powerful part: you will owe no one but God. No person will ever claim, "I made them." All glory will belong to Him alone, because only God could accomplish what is about to unfold in your life. Even now, the atmosphere is shifting. Even now, hidden doors are beginning to open. Even now, the ground quakes under the weight of what is coming. You might not see it with your eyes, but your spirit already knows. The stirring, the tug, the confirmation. Something is approaching, something is sacred, something is heavenly. This is not imagination, this is divine timing. The season is shifting, the favor is taking shape, and what God is preparing will surpass even your deepest prayers. Stay humble, stay grounded, stay pure, because favor without character is dangerous. And God is not just blessing your hands, He's shaping your heart. You are not being favored just to enjoy the blessing, but to become a blessing. You will become a vessel of healing, a carrier of peace, a voice of hope, and you will not need to strive for platforms. God will bring the right people to you, the right doors to you, the right assignments to you, all because you kept your eyes on Him when others looked away. Let your soul prepare. Let your faith arise. Let your lips praise God in advance, because the time of hiding is over. The time of favor is now. And the world will see that the God who forms galaxies also cares about your story. The God who parts seas also opens paths for the faithful. The God who moves mountains also moves in the lives of those who trust Him deeply. Favor is not a fantasy. It is a real, powerful, undeniable outpouring of God's goodness. And it is coming for those who have walked in truth, waited in faith, and worshiped in the wilderness. Your time is near. The shift is real. The favor is coming. And it will not be quiet. It will be loud. It will be sudden. It will be unmistakable. Because when God favors a soul, heaven responds. And when heaven responds, the earth must make room. When God determines a moment of favor for your life, no force in existence, no authority, no enemy, no past mistake can overturn what has been divinely decreed. You must understand that the authority of God is final. It is not up for discussion. It is not altered by popular opinion. It is not weakened by your unworthiness or strengthened by your good deeds. Favor is not earned. It is extended by God in His perfect wisdom and timing. And when He extends it, the weight of that favor carries more power than 10,000 human efforts combined. You cannot buy it. You cannot fake it. You cannot manufacture it. It is God's sovereign touch on your life, and it changes everything. That is why you must not despise the season of waiting. For it is in the waiting that God is shaping the vessel He plans to favor. Waiting is not punishment, it is preparation. God does not send favor to vessels that are cracked with pride, bloated with ego, or unsealed with integrity. The fire you've walked through was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to forge you. The pain that visited you was not to break you, it was to purify your spirit and burn away every ounce of fear, doubt, and false dependency that would block the fullness of God's favor. Because what God is about to release is too precious, too powerful, too purposeful to fall into hands that are not ready to carry the weight of divine responsibility. Favor is a mantle. It comes with influence. It comes with visibility. It comes with spiritual weight. And when God puts it on you, you must walk differently, speak differently, and think differently. The favor of God is not entertainment. It is empowerment. It is a calling to higher accountability, to greater humility, and to deeper surrender. It is not the time to boast. It is the time to bow. Bow your heart in gratitude. Bow your will in submission. Bow your plans under His direction. Because if you truly want to walk in God's favor, you must be willing to walk in His will, even when His will doesn't make sense to your mind. Some of you have been praying, God, open the door. But God is answering you with, I am opening you. Because sometimes the door is not locked, the person is. You cannot walk through a divine door with a divided heart. God will not allow your breakthrough to be sabotaged by internal chaos. So He begins the work within before the work shows up without. He begins by unlocking your vision, purging your heart, strengthening your spirit. Because the moment you are ready within, what you've been asking for without begins to manifest with speed and force. Do you feel it? The shift in the atmosphere, it's not hype, it's holy. That stirring in your soul is not fantasy, it's prophetic. God is preparing to do something in your life that will break cycles, dismantle limitations, and bring honor where there was once humiliation. What once seemed unreachable will suddenly be within your grasp, not because you changed, but because God has decided it is time. And when God says it is time, nothing can delay it. Time must bow to the one who created it. And in that moment, all of the battles you fought will make sense. All the nights you cried will feel like seeds watered by your tears. The confusion, the loneliness, the rejection, it will all become clear because favor has a way of explaining what pain could. And when it comes, your spirit will recognize it before your circumstances catch up. You'll feel it before you see it. You'll know deep within, this is God. And don't be afraid when the blessing stretches you. Favor rarely feels comfortable at first. It will call you to places you've never walked. It will require strength you didn't know you had. But that's the beauty of it. God will not only favor you, He will fortify you. He will enlarge your capacity to handle what He gives. He will stretch your mind to carry the vision. He will expand your spirit to handle the weight of what is coming. Because the blessing will not crush you, it will carry you. The favor will not drown you, it will lift you. This is not the season to shrink back. This is the season to rise with holy boldness and step into what God has already set in motion. Do not compare your journey to another's. Favor has its own timing. What God is doing for you is unique, tailor-made, and meticulously designed. He knows the exact moment to release it. And when He does, it won't just touch one area, it will affect everything. It will cascade into every crevice of your life. Your family will feel it. Your career will shift. Your mind will stabilize. Your heart will heal. Your environment will elevate. And it will all be done in such a way that those around you will have no words, only wonder. This is not the time to live like you're ordinary. You've been marked by God. That means your steps are ordered. Your trials have purpose. Your obedience is not wasted. You are on the verge of divine manifestation, and you are walking toward a moment that has been written in the script of heaven since before you were born. A moment where the heavens open and pour out so much favor that you will be speechless before God, overcome with awe and filled with reverence. Let your posture now be one of faith. Let your thoughts be anchored in truth. Let your actions reflect expectancy. Because when you truly believe God is about to shock you with favor, you prepare differently. You think differently. You respond differently. You don't panic at closed doors. You praise. You don't fear the unknown, you trust. You don't beg for validation, you walk in assurance. Because the same God who whispered the promise is the same God who will perform. And He does not lie. He does not change His mind. He does not forget. You are not waiting for a miracle, you are walking toward one. Every step you take in obedience brings you closer to the unveiling. Every moment of trust moves the heavens. Every word of praise releases power. Do not stop now. Do not settle now. Do not entertain doubt now. Keep your eyes fixed on God. Let every voice that contradicts His truth be silenced by your faith. Because your season is not just changing, your life is being redefined by God's favor. And when it happens, when the wind of God's favor blows across your life, remember to stay low before Him. Humble yourself in the face of glory. Let your heart remain tender, your spirit grateful, your mouth filled with worship. For the same God who lifts can also withhold. Honor the favor by honoring the one who gave it. Protect the blessing by protecting your posture. And know this, if God favored you once, He can favor you again. His storehouses are not empty. His power is not limited. His mercy has no expiration. So lift up your voice and give thanks now, not for what you see, but for what you know is coming. Praise God for the things you can't explain yet. Celebrate the doors you haven't walked through yet. Worship God not for where you are, but for where He is taking you. Because your faith is the invitation, your trust is the bridge, your obedience is the access point, and your heart, anchored in God alone, is the vessel He will use to show the world that when He chooses to favor someone, it is undeniable, unstoppable, and absolutely unforgettable. When the favor of God is released upon your life, it not only lifts you, it transforms everything around you. What once resisted you will begin to cooperate. What once oppressed you will lose its grip. What once stood in the way will fall like walls before the power of God's hand. This is not just personal favor, it is generational favor. The blessing God is about to release will not stop with you. It will overflow into your children, your household, your bloodline. It will correct what the enemy tried to corrupt. It will redeem what was lost in years past. This is not the work of man. This is the divine movement of God, arriving with force, arriving with intention, arriving with justice in His wings. God does not forget the cries of the humble. He does not overlook the prayers that were whispered in desperation, nor the sacrifices made in secret. While others saw your silence as weakness, God saw it as strength. While others questioned your delay, God was strengthening your roots. And now the time has come where roots will yield fruit, and the hidden will be revealed. The barren season is being replaced with abundance, not by the plans of people, but by the will of God. Some of you are standing in a place that doesn't match the promise God whispered to you. But listen to this truth. Just because your surroundings look dry doesn't mean the seed has died. The soil of faith often feels lifeless before the harvest breaks through. And the greatest favor flows to those who keep trusting God even when the evidence disappears. Your refusal to quit, your decision to still believe, your quiet determination to stand firm, these are the very acts that heaven honor. And when God honors your faith, He does it with favor so full that it rewrites the outcome of your entire story. Let me speak to the ones who have faced rejection, abandonment, betrayal. Let me talk to the hearts that were wounded by people who should have protected you, What they meant for evil, God is about to turn for your good. The very thing that hurt you is the thing God will use to elevate you. The betrayal that broke your spirit is about to be the platform for your blessing. And when God lifts you, He will do it in such a way that your healing will be public, but your humility will remain intact. Because the favor of God does not inflate, it humbles. It reminds you who sustained you. It reveals who truly stood by you. And it separates those who came for the blessing from those who came for God. Favor has a way of bringing clarity. It reveals what was hidden in people. It exposes what you were too loyal to let go of. But that's why God had to remove some things from your life before the favor came. He couldn't allow your future to be tainted by yesterday's contamination. He couldn't let the wrong people benefit from the blessing they didn't endure. So He cleansed your circle. He broke some ties. He allowed disconnection so that when favor arrives, it arrives pure, unpolluted, and unmistakably from God. Do not be surprised when those who walked away begin to notice the shift. Favor speaks even when you're silent. It glows on you. It radiates from the decisions you make, the peace you carry, the wisdom that flows from your mouth. It speaks in your stillness. It shines through your endurance. You won't have to convince anyone of God's hand on your life. His favor will be the proof. It will follow you like a fragrance. It will trail behind you like a banner. And those who once dismissed you will have no choice but to say, "Truly, this is the doing of God." And let me be clear, this favor is not cheap. It cost you your comfort. It cost you your control. It cost you your desire to be accepted by everyone. You cannot be favored by God and fit in with everyone. You cannot walk in divine favor and still crave the applause of the crowd. The favor of God will separate you before it elevates you. It will call you to places of solitude. It will require you to walk roads that others fear. But when you walk with God, even the wilderness becomes a pathway to greatness. Even the storms become vehicles for transformation. So let your posture be one of surrender. Let your expectations rise higher. Let your prayers go deeper, because this is not a season to beg. This is a season to believe. The God who holds galaxies in place, who causes the sun to rise, who controls the tides of the oceans, this same God is working on your behalf. He does not make empty promises. He does not operate in coincidence. Every step of your journey has been calculated. Every detour was part of His blueprint. Every delay was a divine filter to prepare you for the magnitude of what is coming. The favor that's approaching your life will open doors you never knocked on. It will bring answers you didn't know how to phrase. It will gather blessings from places you've never been. And it will place you exactly where God intended you to be. Surrounded by divine order, guarded by divine protection, and moved by divine timing. This is not just a turn in your life, it is a transformation. This is not just breakthrough, it is rebirth. God is doing something you've never seen before, something that your past cannot define and your fears cannot stop. All He asks is that you remain anchored in Him, not in outcomes, not in timelines, not in applause, but in Him. Let your identity be rooted in who God says you are. Let your strength come from knowing that even when everything around you is shaking, the one you trust cannot be moved. You are not behind. You're not forgotten. You are not late. You are right where God wants you. The pressure has been great because the favor will be greater. The tears have been many because the joy will overflow. The silence has been long because the announcement will be loud. And when it comes, when that moment of favor unfolds before your very eyes, you will know deep in your spirit, This was worth every sacrifice. This was worth every sleepless night. This was worth every lonely road. And through it all, God will remain the center, not the blessing, not the platform, not the recognition, but God, the source, the sustainer, the deliverer. For it is not the favor that defines you, it is the one who gave it. Keep your heart aligned with Him. Keep your eyes fixed on Him, because as long as you remain with God, the favor will follow. It will chase you down. It will overtake you. It will manifest in places you didn't even. And all of it, every moment, every miracle, every manifestation will declare loudly and clearly, this is the result of surrender to God. This is the reward of trusting the Most High. So now, as you stand on the edge of this divine moment, do not shrink back in fear. Rise up in faith. Lift your eyes to the heavens, for your help comes from God, the Creator of all things, the one who never sleeps nor forgets His promises. What you've endured has not been in vain. The fire did not consume you, it refined you. The tears did not drown you, they watered the soil of your breakthrough. The silence was not God's absence. It was the sound of Him working beneath the surface, preparing a favor so great, so specific, so overwhelming, that it will silence every doubt and testify of His power in your life. Let every breath from this day forward be filled with expectation. Walk as if you already know that favor is approaching. Speak with the assurance that the Most High is arranging a breakthrough. Live as though the divine promise has already touched your life, even before your eyes see it fulfilled. For when God decides to pour out His favor, it cannot be hidden, it cannot be stopped, and it will never be forgotten. Lift your head, not with arrogance, but with sacred confidence. The God who parts the seas, who sends streams through deserts, who raises up the lowly and brings down the proud, is preparing something remarkable for you. Stay expectant, stay alert, stay thankful, because God is about to astonish you, not with fear, not with confusion, not with hardship, but with favor, pure, sovereign, overflowing favor. And when it arrives, there will be no question in your heart, nor in the hearts of those who witness it, that it was always God. My dear friend, open your heart and listen. This is not simply another message, it is a divine summons. You did not arrive here by accident or idle curiosity. God has led you to this moment for a purpose. He brought you here. God has drawn you so that what has been hidden for so long can be uncovered and your true identity revealed. Not the identity the world forced upon you, not the one your pain shaped, not the mask molded by rejection, but the real you, the one God fashioned in the silence of eternity, is about to be made known. For far too long you have been buried beneath the weight of other people's opinions. You've been labeled with words that never belonged to you. Not good enough, too broken, too old, too young, too different, too weak. But those names did not come from God, and He never gave them to you. The world did, hurt people did, the enemy of your soul did, and you believed it, you accepted it, you carried it. But God is about to tear the veil. God is about to shake the foundations of your false identity and lift you out of the pit you never belonged in. You are not what happened to you. You are not your failures. You are not your wounds. You are not your shame. You are not your past. You are what God says you are. And God doesn't make mistakes. God doesn't make accidents. God doesn't abandon the work of His hands. There is a reason you felt like you never fit in. There's a reason your soul has always felt like it was being pulled towards something higher. It's because your spirit was never made to conform to this broken world. You were born with divine fingerprints on your soul. There is something holy about your existence. There is something sacred about your pain. And there is something mighty about your future. God didn't allow you to go through the fire just so you could smell like smoke. God allowed it so you would walk out with the strength to carry your calling. God is about to reveal who you really are. There is a war going on inside you right now. And it's not just about circumstances, it's about identity. The enemy fears what you are becoming. The darkness tried to crush you, tried to confuse you, tried to keep you buried in insecurity, anxiety, and doubt. But you're still here. You're still standing. You're still breathing. That's not just survival, that's divine purpose. You were preserved for this moment. God shielded you. Even when you didn't feel Him, God was there orchestrating the breaking of your false self so the real you could rise. You see, God often hides His greatest warriors in obscurity. God conceals His chosen vessels in silence. The world doesn't see them coming because God is a master of surprise. The ones He is about to elevate are the ones who have been underestimated the most. The ones who have cried behind closed doors. The ones who have labored in the shadows. The ones who were faithful even when they were forgotten. That's you. That's who God is about to reveal. The pain you carried was never in vain. The rejection you endured was never pointless. It was all part of God's process. You were never being punished, you were being prepared. God was stripping away the fake, burning away the pride, purging the impurities, and sculpting your soul into the vessel He destined it to be. And now the time has come. The unveiling is near. The stage is being set. The spotlight is about to shift. And when God reveals who you really are, every lie that was spoken over you will fall like dust. You may have been called a nobody, but when God lifts the curtain, they will see a giant. You may have been mocked as weak, but when God opens the scroll of your destiny, they will see a warrior forged by fire. You may have been overlooked, but God never forgot you. While they were talking, God was building. While they were doubting, God was strengthening. While they were laughing, God was anointing. The world saw your struggle, but God saw your surrender. Let me speak this with all the force in my soul. You are more than you think you are. You have been under spiritual attack, not because you're weak, but because you're dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. The forces of evil only attack what threatens them. The pressure you felt, it's because you carry power. The confusion you faced, it's because your clarity is coming. The isolation you endured, it's because God was separating you from the noise so you could hear His voice. God is about to reveal who you really are. You're not just a person trying to survive another day. You're a vessel of divine purpose. You're a carrier of spiritual fire. You're a threat to the lies of hell. And when God unveils you, you won't even recognize yourself. Because the version of you that's about to emerge is stronger, wiser, freer, and more focused than ever before. This version of you doesn't bow to fear. This version of you walks in authority. This version of you speaks with clarity and moves with boldness. Let them underestimate you. Let them laugh. Let them dismiss you. Because when God steps in to reveal you, no man can deny what God ordains. You don't need validation from people who never saw the real you. You don't need applause. You don't need permission. You only need God. And when God says it's time, Nothing on earth or in hell can stop the unveiling. There's a weight in your spirit right now because your soul senses it. Something is about to shift. That pressure in your chest, that stirring in your belly, that holy restlessness that keeps you awake at night, that's the signal, that's the trumpet of destiny sounding. That's the spiritual vibration of God peeling back the layers. You've outgrown your old skin. You've outlived the lies. The cocoon is breaking. The real you is ready to emerge. You may have looked ordinary, but God never made you to be average. You may have been counted out, but God counted you in. You may have been hidden, but now God is about to showcase you. Not for your glory, but for His. Not to boast, but to bear fruit. Not to dominate, but to demonstrate the power of a life surrendered to God. God is about to reveal who you really are. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out. Not because of your talent, not because of your charm, but because of the divine fire that burns inside of you. That fire is not random. That fire is evidence of a calling too heavy for human hands. That fire is what has kept you alive through storms that should have broken you. It is that fire that will now light the path forward. Don't be afraid of the spotlight God is about to place on you. Don't shrink back from the stage He is preparing. You've cried long enough. You've doubted long enough. You've hesitated long enough. Now is the time to rise. Now is the time to step forward. Now is the time to stop seeing yourself through the lens of your trauma and start seeing yourself through the eyes of God. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too far gone. You are exactly where God wants you to be. The timing is divine. The moment is sacred. The wind is shifting. The heavens are moving. And the same God who formed you in secret is about to expose you in power. He is about to pour oil on your head. He's about to open doors you didn't knock on. He is about to raise you up where others tried to bury you. God is about to reveal who you really are. So I say this with every bounce of truth in my being. Get ready, get serious, get low before God, because the unveiling is holy. The revealing is not for applause, it's for assignment. The stage is not for ego, it's for impact. The light is not for fame, it's for purpose. And you, yes you, have been chosen by God to carry something the world needs. Don't question your worth. Don't doubt your capacity. Don't second guess your journey. Every scar was preparation. Every wound was molding. Every loss was alignment. There's something different about you, and it's time you stop hiding it. It's time you stop apologizing for it. It's time you stop minimizing what God magnified. There is no humility in pretending to be less than what God created. There is no honor in shrinking away from your destiny. Stand tall, speak bold, walk with fire in your bones and the echo of heaven in your voice, because God is about to shout through your life in a way that silences every critic. God is about to reveal who you really are. Even when you don't feel ready, God is. Even when your hands still tremble, God's hand is steady. Even when your voice shakes, God's voice thunders. You were never meant to do it alone. God is with you. God is in you. And when God is in the room, fear has to leave. When God moves, no one can block it. When God speaks, every false identity must bow. You are about to be crowned, not by men, but by truth. You are about to walk in a name God gave you before time began. Get ready. God has been watching your hidden faithfulness. God has seen the silent tears. God has recorded the prayers you whispered when no one else was around. And now God is ready to reveal the one He's been building in the shadows, the real you, the powerful you, the fearless you, the faithful you, the unshakable you. The revelation that is coming is not a display of ego, it is a release of purpose. It is not about being seen by man, but being seen by God as ready. This unveiling is sacred, it is divine, it is heavy with responsibility. Because when God reveals who you truly are, He doesn't just elevate you, He entrusts you with influence, with truth, with light. He entrusts you to walk into places where others have bowed and to stand. He entrusts you to speak when others have gone silent. He entrusts you to carry a fire that cannot be extinguished by fear, criticism, or pressure. God reveals those who are willing to be refined. If you've endured the heat, it's because God has been preparing the vessel. If you've been isolated, it's because God was removing distractions. If you felt broken, it's because God was breaking off the pieces that didn't belong to your divine identity. You thought you were being crushed, but God was actually reshaping you. And when God reshapes, He does not consult your past, He commands your future. When God lifts the veil, the world will not see your scars first. They will see your strength. But remember that strength was forged in the night. It was built in seasons where no one saw, no one clapped, and no one understood. That is where God does His greatest work, in the unseen, in the misunderstood, in the forgotten corners of your journey. God was there chiseling you like a sculptor. And now the unveiling is near, not because of who you are alone, but because of what God is about to do through you. You've wondered why doors closed. You've questioned why certain people walked away. But what you didn't see was that God was protecting your becoming. Some places were too small for what you carry. Some relationships were too weak to handle your weight. God removed them not to punish you, but to prepare the environment where the real you could emerge fully. When God reveals you, it must be in the right setting. God doesn't light a lamp to be hidden under a basket. He places it on a stand so that it gives light to the whole room. But with that light comes responsibility. When God reveals the real you, you can no longer hide behind excuses. You can no longer play small or wait for the perfect moment. You must move when God says move. You must speak when God stirs your spirit. You must act when God commands. Because to be revealed by God is to be activated by Him. This is not a cosmetic transformation. It is not about the outer appearance. It is the emergence of the soul, fueled by God, cleansed by trials, and focused by calling. Do not be surprised if the people closest to you do not understand this transformation. God is not revealing you for their approval. God is revealing you for His purpose. Those who only knew your wounds will struggle to recognize your strength. Those who only knew your silence will be stunned by your voice. Those who only knew your past will be shocked by your purpose. But their opinions do not define you, God does. And when God defines a soul, no opinion can rewrite that identity. This season of revelation will also expose what is false around you. God does not lift the true without shaking off the fake. As the real you emerges, people and patterns that once surrounded you will fall away. Don't chase what God is removing. Don't mourn what God is deleting. If God is cutting ties, it is because your elevation requires protection. The weight of your destiny demands a cleaner atmosphere. You can't soar with anchors tied to your feet. The real you, the one God is about to reveal, will not be intimidated by the opinions of the world. That version of you walks with clarity. That version of you no longer seeks validation from temporary places. That version of you is rooted in God's voice, and nothing else matters. When God becomes your foundation, you can weather any storm, face any giant, and walk through any fire knowing that you are not alone. You are not rising for comfort, you are rising for war. Spiritual war, mental war, war against lies, war against fear. And God is about to reveal the version of you that is not afraid to speak truth in a generation addicted to noise. You are being revealed for such a time as this, not to blend in, but to blaze, not to echo, but to proclaim, not to entertain, but to awaken. When God reveals who you really are, your posture changes. You no longer walk timidly, you walk boldly. You no longer seek attention, you carry presence. You no longer try to fit in, you create space. And you no longer fear failure because you understand that when God reveals, He also sustains. God doesn't just bring you forward, He equips you. This new version of you will come with divine confidence, not arrogance. Confidence rooted in the fact that God's hand is on you. Confidence rooted in the fact that you've been tested, you've been tried, and you've been found faithful. God is not revealing you because you're perfect, He's revealing you because you're ready. And being ready doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means fear no longer controls you. It means doubt no longer paralyzes you. It means shame no longer defines you. You're ready because God says so. And when God says you're ready, you don't wait for another sign. You rise. You speak. You move. You act in alignment with heaven's timing. This season is sacred. It is weighty. It is filled with supernatural transition. And if you listen closely, you will sense that God is stirring your name in rooms you haven't walked into yet. God is orchestrating connections you don't even know about yet. God is aligning resources, opening doors, and assigning angels to walk with you. Why? Because the version of you He is about to reveal is not just for your benefit. It's for the breakthrough of others. When God reveals you, your life becomes a message. Your journey becomes a testimony. Your scars become stories of survival. Your pain becomes a platform. And your voice becomes an instrument in the hand of the Almighty. Don't despise the path you took to get here. It was never about speed. It was about surrender. And now, because you've surrendered, God is about to showcase what obedience births. There is no need to compare. God reveals each soul in its appointed season. Your time is not late. Your path is not lost. The revelation is right on schedule. And what God is about to unfold through you will make sense of every moment you thought was wasted. The waiting wasn't a delay. It was a divine investment. Now is the moment to shed the old skin, to break the shell, to walk in the full expression of what God placed in you before the foundation of the earth. You are not a mistake. You are not an afterthought. You are not forgotten. You are called. You are chosen. You are about to be revealed. And when God reveals who you really are, the world will not be the same. Because the unveiling of a person filled with the power of God shifts everything. It changes rooms. It redirects legacies. It shakes atmospheres. It destroys strongholds. And it liberates the oppressed. So do not look to the left or the right. Do not look backward. Look up. Keep your eyes on God. For what is coming cannot be stopped by man, cannot be delayed by demons, cannot be stolen by enemies. It belongs to you, not because you earned it, but because God ordained it. He formed you in silence. He built you in struggle. He purified you through fire. And now He is revealing you in power. Stand firm. Stay humble. Stay close to God, for the revelation that is coming will mark the beginning of something greater than you can imagine. You are about to walk not just in visibility, but in divine clarity, knowing who you are because you finally understand whose you are. And that changes everything. The soul that God has been shaping is about to rise with an authority it never knew it carried. There's a boldness coming over you that is not born of pride, it is born of revelation. When God opens your eyes to who you truly are, fear must flee. When God peels back the curtain of confusion and lets you see the divine design within you, you stop asking for permission to exist. You stop second-guessing your instinct. You stop apologizing for your strength. Because when God reveals identity, He also ignites purpose. And when purpose is lit by the fire of God, no force in this world can extinguish it. You were created to disrupt darkness. That's why the storms were relentless. That's why you felt the weight of battles others never saw. Because the enemy doesn't waste ammunition on those with no potential. You weren't under attack because you were weak. You were under attack because your presence threatens systems of evil. But the darkness underestimated your endurance. It underestimated the one who was holding you. It forgot that when God is the architect of your destiny, no demon can destroy the foundation. This is more than a season of increase. This is a season of awakening. God isn't merely adding to what's in your hands. He is stirring awake the very core of who you are. And when your spirit comes alive, your reach and your impact awaken with it. The true version of you is not a timid soul waiting for permission. The true version of you is not the echo of what others have spoken over your life. The real you is a vessel of divine strength, filled with God's power, prepared to walk this earth with a calling that cannot be shaken. Don't let your eyes measure the future by what you see around you. God's greatest revelations often start in hidden places. Just as a seed doesn't break the surface instantly, beneath the ground there is movement. Roots are digging deep. Endurance is being built. The stronger the root, the greater the growth. You were never meant to be buried. You were planted. And because you remain steadfast in faith, your season of breaking through has finally arrived. You will rise not because of your timing, but because of God's perfect timing. What's about to happen in your life will be undeniable. You won't have to explain it. You won't have to campaign for it. When God reveals you, it will speak for itself. The light He places on you will carry such clarity that confusion will have no room to breathe. You've tried to explain your journey to those who could never understand your depth, but now you won't need words. Your walk will say it all. Your actions will echo in realms you've never seen because the real you, the one God formed through fire, is about to be set loose in the world. You're not stepping into popularity, you're stepping into power. There's a difference. Popularity fades. Power remains. Power doesn't come from position. It comes from divine alignment. When God breathes on your name, it doesn't matter who tried to bury it. When God says rise, not even the grave of your own doubt can hold you. You may have been through seasons where you lost your voice, where you lost your confidence, but you never lost your calling. And now God is reviving what seemed lifeless. You are walking into a divine resurrection, not of your body, but of your purpose. Get ready to see your reflection differently. The mirror will no longer show you limitation, it will reveal potential. The whispers of the past will no longer chain your thoughts. Because when God reveals the true self, He also silences every lie that kept it buried. You are not who your trauma tried to shape you into. You're not the echo of your mistakes. You are not the echo of rejection. You are the echo of God's intention. You are the living proof that God still raises, still restores, still reveals. And when God reveals, He doesn't just show you the strength, you begin to walk in it. The steps you were once too afraid to take, you will now take with courage. The decisions you used to delay, you will now face with divine confidence. Because the clarity God gives is not just mental, it's spiritual. You know who you are. Not because you figured it out, but because God has unveiled it. If He figured it out because God has unveiled it, you'll find that your discernment becomes sharper, that your tolerance for the unnecessary fades, that your hunger for truth grows deeper. Because once the real you emerges, false attachments can no longer cling to your spirit. What used to entertain you will begin to irritate you. What once distracted you will now disgust you. You won't crave noise, you'll crave stillness. You won't chase applause, you'll chase alignment. Because the revealed soul doesn't move for attention, it moves from obedience. And oh, how powerful obedience becomes when it flows from identity. You begin to hear God more clearly. You begin to see opportunities with sharper vision. You begin to feel assignments calling you out of comfort. And you respond not with fear, but with fire. Because you understand now that you are not ordinary. You are not here to take up space. You are here to shake the earth with the echo of what God whispered into your soul before the stars ever lit the sky. You must understand this is not just a personal moment, it is a generational one. The unveiling of your identity is a key to someone else's freedom. There are people assigned to your voice. There are breakthroughs tied to your obedience. There are chains that will fall the moment you speak the way God has ordained you to speak. This is not about being known. It's about being used. And when God uses you, nothing remains the same. You are entering the hour of responsibility. Now that God is revealing you, you can't go back. You can't fit into places that used to feel comfortable. You can't laugh at jokes that contradict your calling. You can't walk with people who pull you away from what God has shown you. Because once truth is revealed, compromise becomes poison. You're now accountable to the revelation. You are now walking under the weight of purpose. But don't fear the weight, for where God gives purpose, He also gives power. And this power will sustain you in the face of pressure. It will keep you grounded when attention tries to lift you too high. It will keep you humble when favor increases, because the power is not your own. It flows from the source. You are not the light, you are the lamp. And as long as you stay connected to God, the flame will never go out. Everything around you may not understand this shift. That's okay. Let them question. Let them talk. Let them speculate. They saw the version of you that was in hiding. They never expected to see the fire that's about to break forth. Let them adjust to the new you. You're not here to convince them. You're here to walk in it. So walk. Walk with holy focus. Walk with unwavering faith. Walk with a mind made up and a heart sealed by God. Because the path ahead is not random. It's strategic. Every step you take now must be intentional. Every word must carry weight. Every moment must be filled with purpose. God is not playing with your life, and neither should you. God is about to establish you in the earth. He is about to send you into places where your voice will carry weight, where your presence will shift atmospheres, where your story will unlock others, where your scars will shine as signs of victory, not because you're flawless, but because you're free. Free to be what God always intended. When God reveals who you really are, it will not only change how you see yourself, it will shift how you walk into every room. You will no longer seek to be accepted because you'll know you are already appointed. You will no longer fight to prove your worth because your worth has already been spoken into existence by the one who shaped the galaxies and wrote your name into the folds of His will. There is a holy courage rising in you now, one that can no longer be suppressed by fear, no longer chained by hesitation, and no longer silenced by the echoes of your past. This revelation is divine in nature. It doesn't come from books or from the lips of others. It comes straight from the throne of God. It is whispered into your spirit in the quiet hours when the world sleeps, but your soul is awake. That still small voice that has been stirring you, provoking you, calling you higher, that is God speaking. That is God showing you glimpses of who you are when all the layers of doubt are stripped away. And now that whisper is becoming a thunder. That stirring is becoming a roar. The time of glimpses is over. The full image is being revealed. You are not rising into someone new. You are returning to who you always were in the eyes of God. The world tried to cover it, tried to label you, tried to define you by what you did or didn't do. But God does not define you by your record. God defines you by your origin, and your origin is divine. You were born of God's plan, shaped in His intention, and breathed into existence with purpose in every fiber of your being. So when God reveals who you really are, it may surprise others, but it won't surprise your spirit. Your spirit has known all along. That's why you've never felt settled in shallow places. That's why you felt restless when others seemed content. That's why the ordinary never satisfied you. It's because your soul has been crying out for the real you to be born, to be activated, to be unleashed. And now that cry has reached the ears of the Almighty. And God is saying, now is the time. Rise and be who I called you to be. This unveiling doesn't come with applause. It comes with assignment. And every assignment from God requires endurance, discipline, humility, and bold obedience. The path ahead will not always be easy, but it will always be anointed. God does not reveal you only to celebrate you. God reveals you to use you. And when you are used by God, you become a living vessel through which light penetrates darkness and truth confronts deception. You will find that things you used to tolerate now irritate your spirit. That's not pride, it's spiritual growth. When God begins to open your eyes to your identity, your appetite changes. You begin to crave silence over noise, purpose over popularity, wisdom over excitement, because your soul is aligning with its true origin, its divine blueprint. You are waking up to who you are, not in the eyes of society, but in the sight of God. And when you walk in this identity, doors will open, not because you knock, but because your presence announces destiny. Opportunities will chase you down because what you carry cannot be ignored. People will be drawn to you, not because of charisma, but because of the weight of God's presence upon you. You will walk into rooms and the atmosphere will shift, not because of what you say, but because of what God has placed within you. And that inner fire will not flicker, it will blaze. But hear this fire must be protected. You cannot carry this revelation casually. You cannot walk lightly in something that God poured out with divine intention. To whom much is revealed, much is required. You must guard your spirit from compromise. Guard your eyes from distractions. Guard your heart from contamination, because what God is about to birth through you will not only elevate your life, it will impact generations. The real you is a leader, a warrior, a storm walker, a truth bearer, a vessel of divine justice and mercy. You were not born to conform, you were born to confront the lies in the atmosphere, to confront the fear in your family line, to confront the doubt in your own soul and say, enough. I know who I am because I know who my Creator is. This is not the season to shrink. This is not the hour to hesitate. This is not the moment to delay. When God reveals you, you must move. You must respond. You must walk in the fullness of the call with unwavering faith and a heart locked on the voice of God. Because every moment you delay is a moment purpose waits, and purpose is too sacred to waste. There are lives attached to your obedience. There are breakthroughs that will only occur when you step fully into who God made you to be. There are places that have remained in darkness, waiting for the light you carry. There are voices that have been silenced, waiting for yours to echo with truth. You are not just chosen to be, you were chosen to do. And that doing begins the moment you surrender completely to what God has shown you about yourself. Let the world say what it wants. Let people try to figure you out. Let skeptics doubt and critics talk. It does not matter. Because when God reveals, no human can conceal. When God sets something in motion, not even the gates of darkness can halt its progress. You are being revealed by divine order, not by human permission. Stand tall in this identity, not with pride but with purpose, not for self-glory but for divine service. Let your life now be an offering poured out to God. Let your hands be His instruments. Let your mind be guided by His wisdom. Let your mouth speak only what He gives you to speak. Because the true you is not a performance, it is a calling. And that calling has come alive. You've waited long enough. You've hidden long enough. You've apologized for your strength long enough. Now it's time. The voice of God is summoning you forward. No more delaying, no more shrinking, no more bowing to fear. God has appointed this time, this moment, this hour for the true you to arise. You will no longer be defined by limitations, but by revelation. You will no longer be bound by cycles, but led by divine order. You will no longer carry confusion, because clarity has come through God's voice. The mask is falling, the shell is breaking, the fog is lifting, and what is emerging is powerful, purposeful, holy, and unstoppable. Because it has been fashioned by the hand of the Almighty, let the heavens bear witness, let the earth prepare, because what God is about to do through you will echo far beyond your imagination. And it all begins now with the full unveiling of the soul God has been shaping in secret. Walk forward, child of purpose. You were born for this moment. There comes a moment in every life when silence ends and destiny speaks. That moment is sacred. That moment is not defined by time, but by divine timing. And hear me clearly, you are standing in that moment now. God is calling forth the version of you that has been hidden, suppressed, denied, ignored, even by your own mind. But God has not forgotten. God has not overlooked. God has not erased what He planted in you before the world knew your name. And now the heavens are stirring because the unveiling is not a distant hope. It is an active move of God already unfolding. You were not made to blend into the shadows of history. You were crafted to rise. Not rise for fame, not rise for approval, but rise to fulfill an assignment etched in the eternal script of God's plan. When God reveals who you really are, it's not to give you comfort, it's to give you clarity. Because clarity kills confusion, clarity silences distraction, clarity breaks delay, and with clarity comes responsibility to act, to speak, to obey, to carry what God placed within you without fear or apology. The revelation of your true self will not come with gentle ripples. It will arrive like a wave that washes away false identities, old patterns, self-imposed limitations, and the expectations of those who never saw the weight of glory you were born to carry. This is why you had to walk alone. This is why you were misunderstood. This is why you kept trying to shrink your spirit to fit rooms too small for your purpose. But no more. God is enlarging your territory, not just externally, but internally. The soul inside you is expanding with divine awareness. And once expanded by truth, you can never return to the prison of small thinking. When God reveals who you really are, people will wonder where you've been. But they didn't see the wilderness. They didn't see the tears. They didn't hear the cries that only God heard. They didn't feel the breaking, the refining, the pressing that happened when no one was watching. They only see the rise. But God saw the process. And God doesn't waste pain. Every ounce of suffering was calculated. Every delay was divine. Every no was sacred, because the real you had to be born in fire, not comfort. It had to come from surrender, not ambition. There is something holy in being hidden. Hidden seasons teach you to rely only on God. Hidden seasons strip you of the need for human validation. Hidden seasons silence the noise so you can hear the stillness. And in that stillness, God begins to speak identity into your bones. You begin to understand that you were never forgotten. You were being fortified. And now the hiding is ending. God is uncovering what He has refined. God is putting on display what He has sealed with purpose. God is calling your name out of the shadows and into the light of divine manifestation. You must prepare your heart for the weight of this revelation, because the true version of you is not light. It carries depth that carries fire. It carries a voice that cannot be tamed by trends or muted by fear. This is not about being loud. This is about being clear. And when you walk with clarity from God, every step becomes intentional. Every move becomes strategic. Every word becomes charged with heaven's authority. People may try to reconnect with the version of you they remember, but that version no longer exists. Let them grieve who you were. Do not return to the places where God has delivered you from just to keep others comfortable. You are not being elevated to repeat old patterns. You are being released to walk in new dimensions, dimensions of wisdom, dimensions of vision, dimensions of spiritual authority that you hadn't yet embraced your true self. And let me speak this into your spirit. This unveiling will cost you something. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you relationships that were only attached to the lesser version of you. It will cost you opinions, praise, even status. But what you gain in exchange is eternal. You gain alignment with God. You gain the peace that comes from walking in truth. You gain the power of a life lived in full agreement with your divine assignment. And that is a price worth paying. You don't need to strive to prove anything anymore. When God reveals you, your fruit will speak for itself. The peace in your presence, the fire in your voice, the wisdom in your silence, the discipline in your steps, the love in your eyes, the way you carry storms without breaking, the way you rise again and again when others expect you to fall. All of it will speak because it is God who speaks through you. This is the time to guard your soul. The unveiling is not just about elevation. It is also about exposure. When God pulls you into the light, everything that is not aligned must go. Thoughts that once had power over you will die in the light of truth. Habits that once comforted your insecurity will fall away in the strength of purpose. You are not the same, and you cannot live like you are. The call is too high. The responsibility is too great. The urgency is too strong. Let your past teach you, but never define you. Let your mistakes humble you, but never imprison you. Let your trials shape you, but never shrink you. You were never meant to be what others projected onto you. You were always meant to be what God declared over you. And God never declares anything without attaching power to the promise. Now you must become intentional. Surround yourself with voices that speak truth, not flattery. Enter spaces that expand your faith, not distract your focus. Feed your spirit more than your ego. Fast from doubt. Feast on clarity. Meditate on purpose. Saturate your mind with God's guidance. And silence every voice that tries to convince you to settle for less than you were born to become. You are not rising because you're better. You're rising because you're aligned. And alignment with God will take you where striving never could. Alignment unlocks doors that effort cannot. Alignment attracts favor that hustling cannot manufacture. When your soul lines up with what God says about you, there is a supernatural force that lifts you without noise, without compromise, and without delay. Let the unveiling continue. Let the layers fall. Let the Spirit rise. Let the truth pour through every fiber of your being. For this is not a performance, it is a divine becoming. And you, chosen soul, are about to walk into the world not just as a person, but as a living declaration of what happens when a life is fully surrendered to God. Now is the moment to awaken the part of you that the world could not kill, that time could not bury, and that pain could not silence. Now is the moment to look deep within and recognize that the fire still burns, not because you kept it alive, but because God never let it die. Every breath you draw is evidence that God is not finished with you. Every heartbeat is a reminder that purpose still beats within your chest. You have not been left behind. You have not been overlooked. You have been preserved by the wisdom of God, by the mercy of God, by the timing of God. So ask yourself, have you truly embraced who God created you to be? Or have you dimmed your light to match the room? Have you silenced your voice to keep peace with people who were never meant to walk the full journey with you? Have you buried your purpose beneath fear, shame, or the opinions of others? This is your time to break the silence, to rise from the ashes, and to walk in the full authority of your identity. You're not here to survive, you're here to fulfill. God is not calling you to perfection. God is calling you to obedience, to walk boldly even when your knees tremble, to speak truth even when your voice shakes, to carry light even when surrounded by shadows. You do not need to have it all figured out. You only need to surrender. Surrender the mass. Surrender the lies. Surrender the doubt. And step fully into the soul that God has been forming through every trial, every tear, every season of silence. The unveiling is here. And with it comes a responsibility to walk not in fear, but in faith. There is no more time to play small. No more time to second-guess the calling that has already been written into your being. You were not placed on this earth to blend in. You were not formed in your mother's womb to merely exist. You were spoken into time to make an impact that hell itself could not stop. So rise. Stand firm, walk forward with a fire of clarity in your eyes and the authority of purpose in your voice. God has gone before you. God stands beside you. God walks within you. Let your life from this day forward become a living answer to God's calling. Let your thoughts be aligned with truth. Let your steps be guided by divine wisdom. Let your heart be anchored in the sacred certainty that you are known, seen, and chosen by the Almighty. And when you speak, let it be as one who has stood before the presence of God and emerged unshaken. The world is waiting not for another copy, but for the real you, the one God shaped in silence. The one God is revealing in power. So I urge you, look to the heavens and say, "Here I am, God. I will no longer run. I will no longer hide. I am ready to become who you created me to be." That is your call to action. That is your sacred charge. If you choose to walk in it, to move with it, to let it be the source you live from, your life won't simply be transformed, it will become the channel through which God brings transformation to others. Mark this moment as the turning point. Let today be when the masks fall away, when fear loses its grip, and when your true self rises to the surface. Not through your own strength, but through God's power. Not by your design, but through His divine purpose. And as you step forward from here, may every stride be rooted in faith. May each breath rest upon truth. May your soul never again question the greatness of the one who reveals, who refines, and who releases. Step out now, not as who you once were, but as who you were always meant to be. And let the world witness what happens when a heart fully surrenders to God's calling. Let your life roar with purpose. Let your silence rise into song. Let your very presence carry power. And let your future proclaim the story of someone who dared to believe that once God uncovers your true identity, absolutely nothing can remain the same. My friends, you've been rooted in the same place far too long. You've walked around the same mountain, wept the same tears, and clung to the same fears. Now the voice of God is crashing into the quiet of your heart with a single holy command. It is time to move. Step into the season I have set before you. Walk into the change that has been prepared for you. This is not optional. This is not merely a gentle nudge. This is a decree from the author of heaven and earth. God is calling you out of the past and toward what lies ahead. He is brushing the dust from your spirit and saying, enough of the wilderness. Enough of the delays. Enough of the fear. Your new season has arrived, and I am with you. When God speaks, it is never idle. His voice bears the authority of creation. His word does not return empty. Right now, His voice is hovering over your life, stirring the depths of your spirit, getting ready to snap the chains that have bound you. You may not feel ready. You may feel unqualified, but when God declares a new season over your life, no enemy can stop it, no past can block it, and no failure can cancel it. You've cried through the night wondering if the breakthrough would ever come. You've watched others move ahead while you were still stuck. But hear me now, God did not forget you. He was preparing you. He was pruning you. He was digging deep roots in you so when the storm came, you would not be moved. And now the time has come. God is opening the door to your next chapter. He's shifting you from waiting to walking, from hoping to possessing, from praying to receiving. Some of you are still clinging to the last season because it is familiar. You've made peace with your limitations. You've gotten comfortable in survival mode. But God never intended for you to build a home in the valley of despair. He never told you to settle in a place of lack. He is telling you to rise up, to shake off the chains, to gather your strength and move into what He has promised. This is the season where old things must die so new things can live. This is the season where God will tear down what you built on fear and raise up what He designed through faith. He is calling you to walk by faith, not by sight. You may not know where the path leads, but if God is guiding the steps, you can be sure it leads to glory. Let me tell you, when God says move, you don't negotiate. You don't wait for a sign in the sky. You don't need everyone's approval. You obey because delayed obedience is still disobedience. And if you stay too long where God has already left, you will miss the blessing He has placed in front of you. Some of you have been trying to resurrect what God already buried. You're praying for Him to bless what He has already shut down. But God is not a God of backward steps. He's a God of forward motion. He doesn't recycle dead seasons. He creates new ones. The same God who split the sea will split the silence in your life and make a way where there was none. You are not too old. You are not too broken. You are not too late. God's timing is perfect. And if He is telling you, now is the time to move, then now is the time to move. Not next year, not when you feel ready, not when it makes sense, now. Because when God ordains a shift, He supplies the strength to carry it. Don't look around for confirmation when you've already heard divine instruction. Don't ask others to validate what God has spoken in the quiet of your soul. People may not understand your shift, but you're not walking by their understanding. You're walking by the Word of God. There is a fire rising in your spirit right now. And that's not by accident. That's the confirmation you've been waiting for. That's God stirring your soul. That's God setting your heart ablaze with holy urgency. You were made for this moment. You were born for this breakthrough. There is a land flowing with blessings ahead of you, but you have to leave Egypt behind. You have to release the trauma, release the betrayal, release the bitterness. That season was real, but it's over. Don't miss your miracle because you won't let go of the memory. God is doing a new thing, and you won't see it while staring in the rearview mirror. You can't step into tomorrow's favor with yesterday's mindset. God is transforming you, elevating you, lifting you. But transformation requires separation. He will separate you from people, places, and patterns that no longer fit where He's taking you. Yes, it will feel uncomfortable. Yes, it will stretch you. But growth is never comfortable. Faith is never easy. And the path God has for you is paved not with comfort, but with calling. If He's telling you to move, it's because He has already prepared the land. He has already opened the door. He has already gone ahead of you. You may feel small, but the God behind you is mighty. You may feel weak, but His strength is made perfect in weakness. When God says go, you go in His power, not your own. The same God who called light out of darkness is calling purpose out of your pain. He is calling strength out of your struggle. This is not just a season of change, it's a season of rebirth, a season where everything that was hidden will be revealed, where everything the enemy tried to steal will be restored, where the years you lost will be redeemed. God is not just moving you to a new place, He is making you a new person. Let me tell you what's going to happen when you step forward. The doors will open, the chains will break, the favor will fall, because obedience is the key that unlocks heaven's storehouse. God responds to faith, not fear. And when you walk in faith, you give God permission to move in ways that will leave you in awe. Don't you dare let fear hold you back. Don't let doubt whisper lies into your spirit. Don't let the enemy talk you out of what God has already promised. The same God who parted the sea is clearing the path for you. The same God who brought water from a rock is about to bring provision from an unexpected place. You've been waiting for a miracle, but maybe the miracle is waiting on you to trust, to obey, to move. Stop praying for open doors while refusing to walk through them. Stop asking for change while holding on to the chains. God is saying, I have more for you, but you must take the first step. This new season won't look like the last one, and that's the beauty of it. God is a God of new beginnings. He's not recycling your past, He's redefining your future. He's not tweaking the old version of you, He's resurrecting the best version of you in this new season. You will walk with power, you will speak with authority, you will carry peace that makes no sense to the world around you. You will see doors open that were shut for years. You will encounter favor that your resume could not earn. Because it's not about you. It's about God's plan for you. If you only knew what God has prepared, you wouldn't hesitate. If you only knew the glory waiting on the other side of your obedience, you would run, not walk, into the season He's calling you into. This is your time. This is your moment. The old is passing away. Behold, the new is breaking forth. God is shifting the atmosphere. He is breaking cycles that have followed you for generations. He is canceling every assignment of the enemy. He is silencing every lie. He is dismantling every trap. And He is declaring over you, move forward, your time is now. You will not fail. You will not fall. You will not faint, because God is upholding you with His mighty hand. He is your shield, your strength, your rock, your deliverer. And when He leads, He provides. When He sends, He protects. When He speaks, it is done. You were never meant to stay stuck. You were never meant to live beneath your calling. You were created for more. You were designed for destiny. And right now, destiny is calling your name. God is saying, I've seen your pain, I've seen your tears, I've heard your prayers, and now I am opening the way before you. Move, my child, move. You may have enemies in this new season, but God will prepare a table before them. You may face giants, but God will sling the stone. You may walk through fire, but God will not let you burn. This new season will not be free of battles, but it will be full of victory. God is positioning you to receive what you once thought was impossible. He is setting you up for miracles. He is rewriting your story in front of the very people who thought it was over. He is raising you from the ashes of yesterday into the divine fulfillment of tomorrow. And now, as the weight of God's voice settles in your spirit, you must understand this is not just a season of change. This is a divine appointment. You are not standing on ordinary ground. You are standing at the threshold of transformation. When God speaks, time bends, circumstances shift, and what seemed impossible becomes reality. God is not asking for your permission. He is calling for your surrender. When God says it's time to move, your only rightful response is obedience. This moment has been ordained before you even knew the struggle you would face. God already saw the nights you would lie awake feeling forgotten. He already counted the tears you would shed when nothing made sense. And yet, through it all, God kept preparing a future that your current reality cannot yet comprehend. This new season isn't just about success. It's about purpose. It's not about comfort. It's about calling. God is leading you somewhere that will require everything in you to rise to His standard. You see, there is a sacred tension when God shifts your season. He doesn't always give details. He doesn't always explain the process, because what He wants from you is not your strategy, He wants your trust. God is testing your heart, not your understanding. Can you trust the God who led you out of bondage to lead you into blessing? Can you trust Him when the path is uncertain, but His voice is sure? When you let go of your own control, you make room for God's authority to reign in full power over your life. You were not meant to blend in with the background of a broken world. You were set apart to move when others freeze, to rise when others fall, to obey when others question. That obedience will become your weapon. That surrender will unlock the season you've been waiting for. God doesn't elevate those who play it safe. He promotes those who are willing to walk when it makes no sense except for the fact that He said go. Do not be surprised when the old begins to fall away, when friendships shift, when routines break, when familiar places no longer feel like home. That's the evidence that God is pushing you out of the nest. He is breaking the shell of your limitation and saying you were made to fly. And though the sky may look intimidating, God is the wind beneath your wings. He will not let you fall. He will not let you fail. God will take you higher than your feet could ever go on their own. And understand this, every time God calls you into a new season, He also sends new challenges. But those challenges are not punishments. They are platforms for His power to be displayed through your surrender. Platforms for His glory to be revealed through your weakness. The storm is not a sign that God has abandoned you. It's the stage He has chosen to show you what happens when you depend on nothing but Him. You don't need to carry the burden of explaining your move to others. When God calls, not everyone will hear it. When God stirs your spirit, not everyone will understand it. And that's all right. Your obedience doesn't require validation from people. It only requires revelation from God. And if you have heard His voice, that is all the confirmation you will ever need. Stop holding on to the old out of fear that the new won't be enough. God never removes something from your life unless He intends to replace it with something greater. If He takes away the crutch, it's because He's teaching you to stand. If He shuts the door, it's because He's opening one that no man can close. If He strips you down to nothing, it's because He's rebuilding you with His power and not your pride. God doesn't operate according to the timelines of men. Just because it's taken longer than you expected doesn't mean God changed His mind. Delay is not denial. Delay is often the refinement necessary to carry the weight of what's coming. God will not release a new season until your character is able to steward it. And if He has you in motion now, it means the fire has done its work. It means the pruning has fulfilled its purpose. It means you are ready, even if you don't feel like it. In this new season, God will not ask you to do what is easy. He will ask you to do what is necessary. Necessary for your growth, necessary for His glory, and necessary for your elevation. He may ask you to walk away from distractions. He may ask you to confront things you've buried deep. He may ask you to forgive when it hurts, to let go when it's hard, to stand firm when the winds rage. But every step you take in obedience will be a step into divine alignment. God does not call you without equipping you. He does not send you without covering you. If He tells you to move, then He has already assigned angels to protect the path, already softened hearts ahead of you, already commanded the resources to meet you on the road. Your only job is to move with Him, not ahead of Him, not behind Him, but with Him. When you move with God, you move in rhythm, with purpose. Listen closely now. This isn't just about you. Your obedience will affect generations. Your shift will break generational curses. Your yes to God will open doors not just for you, but for those connected to your name. Your willingness to step into this new season is planting seeds that your children and grandchildren will one day harvest. Don't let fear rob them of a legacy. Don't let comfort steal what God wants to birth through you. There is something glorious on the other side of your yes. But God will not force you. He will not drag you. He will call, and then He will watch to see if you trust Him enough to move. The power of the season is in your response. Will you stay chained to the familiar, or will you rise with holy boldness and say, God, I trust you. Even if I can't see it yet, I trust you. Some of you have been battling the same cycles for years, waiting for something to shift around you. But God is saying the shift must begin within you. The enemy isn't always external. Sometimes the greatest resistance is your own doubt, your own pride, your own fear. Let God tear down the walls you built with your own thoughts. Let Him shatter the idols of control, perfection, and independence that have stood in the way of your breakthrough. You will know it is God calling you into a new season when everything around you begins to lose taste. When what once satisfied now feels stale, that's not failure, it's favor. That's not lost, it's positioning. God makes you uncomfortable in the old, so you can no longer deny the new. And even though it's unknown, it is where He is. And where God is, peace follows, provision follows, power follows. Do not confuse quietness for absence. Just because God is silent does not mean He is distant. The silence is often the soil where faith grows strongest. The silence is where trust is perfected. And the moment He says move, you must be ready. You must be alert. You must be positioned like a soldier awaiting command. Disciplined, determined, unwavering, because the moment you step, things will happen fast. What didn't shift for years will change in weeks. What was closed off for decades will suddenly be unlocked. But only if you obey. You must walk when He says walk, speak when He says speak, release when He says release, and most importantly, believe when He says believe. If you've been waiting for someone to give you permission to begin again, this is it. God is giving you the green light. God is telling you to pick up what you dropped, to dream again, to build again, to rise again. That fire inside of you was never meant to die out. It was meant to blaze brighter in this new season. What you thought was the end was only the intermission. Now comes the power. Now comes the promise. But hear me well. Do not enter this new season with old mindsets. You cannot take bitterness where God is leading you. You cannot take excuses into the next level. You cannot walk in circles and expect straight linear results. This season will require your focus, your discipline, your prayer, your commitment. Because where God is taking you, the distractions will multiply. But so will the rewards for staying faithful. If you remain anchored in God, you will not be shaken. If you remain surrendered to His will, you will not be misled. There is a reason He did not let you quit when everything fell apart. There is a reason He pulled you through when you were ready to give up. There is a reason you're still standing, and that reason is now. God preserved you for this. But listen closely, because this moment is not just passing by. It's a divine visitation. God is not just nudging you toward your future, He is commanding it into existence. And when God commands something into motion, creation must obey. When God says, "Let there be," nothing in heaven or on earth can say no. Right now, the Spirit of God is hovering over the chaos of your situation, and His voice is speaking order, direction, and purpose into your soul. He is not asking for your resume, He is igniting your readiness. This new season is not about how gifted you are, it's not about how loud you pray or how long you fast, it's about how deeply you trust God to carry you into a place you've never been before. It's about surrendering your will, your fear, your timeline, and saying, "God, whatever you say, I will do." Because God is not unlocking this season for the double-minded or the hesitant. This new season is reserved for those who are desperate enough to obey, even when it doesn't make sense. Some of you are waiting for the conditions to be perfect, for everything to line up just right before you move. But if you could see with spiritual eyes, you would know that the winds of God are already shifting in your favor. You would know that while the world sees drought, heaven sees harvest. While others see delay, God sees design. The moment God says now, the time becomes holy, the path becomes sacred, and the door becomes open. You've asked, why hasn't it happened yet? But God is saying, because you weren't ready to carry what I was about to release. But now I see faith rising. Now I see obedience forming. Now I see the fire in your bones. Move, because now you're ready. God is not interested in pleasing your comfort. He is invested in perfecting your purpose, and that often requires stretching, breaking, humbling, and shaking everything that is not rooted in Him. This season will be different, not because your circumstances have changed, but because you have changed. God has taken you through the wilderness, not to punish you, but to purify you. Not to abandon you, but to anchor you. And now, after all the storms you've survived, all the betrayals you've overcome, all the silent nights where you still whispered prayers, God is saying, I can trust you now. You're ready. Don't think for 1 second that what you went through was wasted. Every tear you cried watered the soil of your new season. Every disappointment carved out space for divine promotion. Every unanswered prayer was a doorway being built behind the scenes. You thought God was silent, but He was strategizing. You thought He was withholding, but He was preparing the kind of blessing that doesn't come cheap. And now it's here. But know this, God is not promoting you just so you can enjoy more. He is elevating you so you can carry more. This season will require spiritual stamina. It will require the kind of focus that turns down the noise of the world and tunes in to the whisper of God. Because where God is taking you, distractions will come dressed as opportunities. Counterfeits will look like blessings. But if your ear is tuned to God's voice, you will know what is sent by Him and what is sent to detour you. God is not just giving you favor, He is training you to steward it. This is not about surface-level success. This is about spiritual dominion. About walking into rooms that your past said you could never enter, and knowing you're not there because of who you are, but because of whose you are. God is positioning you to be a vessel of His power, not a container of your own ego. And yes, the enemy will rise the moment you move, the moment you step into alignment with God's will. Resistance will come. But don't let that shake you. Let it confirm you, because the presence of giants means the land is valuable. The rising of opposition means your steps are shaking hell. You are not stepping into ease. You are stepping into warfare. But you are also stepping with the authority of the one who called you. You don't need to fight every battle. God will fight for you. Your obedience is your sword. Your stillness is your shield. Your faith is your armor. When you walk in obedience, you activate heaven's army, and where God's army marches, darkness flees. Where His power flows, bondage breaks. Where His name is lifted, peace reigns. This new season is not about public applause, it's about private alignment. God is not just changing your surroundings, He is transforming your soul. You'll start to speak differently. You'll discern more deeply. You'll pray with fire that wasn't there before. Because when God moves you, He renews you. When He sends you, He sets you apart. When He places you, He cleanses everything around you that cannot align with the mission. Do not hold back. Do not slip back into what feels safe. Do not let your former identity rob you of your present reality. You are no longer who you used to be. That version of you was meant for the wilderness. This version is created for authority. You are not only entering a new season, you are stepping into fulfillment, into legacy, into a life that resonates through eternity because it is surrendered to the voice of God. Let this truth cut through the clamor of fear and doubt. You are called, you are chosen, you are equipped, and not by your own worth, but by God's mercy. Not because of your perfection, but because of His plan. And now the weight of that calling is resting on your shoulders. Not to crush you, but to crown you. God is placing a mantle upon your life, a holy assignment. And He is saying, walk in it, own it, move in it. This moment is sacred. Do not miss it by looking for signs when you already have the signal. Do not waste it by overthinking what God has already made clear. Step now, not tomorrow, not when you feel perfect, but now. Because when you step in faith, God meets you with power. When you step in obedience, He meets you with clarity. And when you move, watch what happens. Doors will open without you knocking. People will find you without you searching. Resources will come without you striving, because obedience creates divine acceleration. Obedience draws heaven's favor like a magnet. And obedience, even in small steps, is the evidence that you believe God is who He says He is. You're not alone in this. God is not sending you forward with empty hands. He is filling your spirit even now. Strength is rising in your bones. Fire is building in your chest. Courage is awakening in your soul. This is what it feels like when heaven confirms your direction. This is what it feels like when the Almighty wraps His will around your life and says, go. Then hear this with urgency and clarity. When God declares that your season has changed, nothing in the natural realm can override the command of the supernatural. Mountains will shift, winds will obey, obstacles will dissolve, but the heart must be willing. It must bow not only in prayer, but in submission, because the movement God requires of you is not just a physical one. It is a spiritual repositioning. He is calling your thoughts to align your intentions, to purify your habits, to reflect the magnitude of where He is taking you. This is not just another chapter in your story. This is a divine unfolding, a sacred realignment. The season you are entering is not about more things. It is about more of God. It is about walking so closely with Him that His whispers shake your plans and ignite your steps. And those steps will not be small, hesitant steps. They will be steps of dominion, steps of authority that were forged in the fire of your waiting. Some of you have misunderstood the silence as abandonment. You've looked at the delay and questioned the promise. But what you didn't see was the unseen hand of God working beneath the soil, pressing roots into your soul, strengthening your foundation so that the elevation wouldn't destroy you. God was not denying you, He was preparing you. And the deeper the preparation, the higher the purpose. The calling that rests upon your life is not casual. It is weighty. It is sacred. God did not rescue you from darkness just to have you dwell in doubt. He didn't preserve you through every storm just to see you shrink when it's time to rise. The very fact that you're still standing is proof that God's hand never lifted off you. And now He is pressing upon your heart with a new urgency, an unshakable knowing that it is time to release the old and walk boldly into the new. But hear this, not everyone can go with you. Not everything can be carried forward. There are attachments God will sever. There are familiar comforts He will dismantle. And it may feel like loss, but in God's economy, pruning always precedes prosperity. He cuts back only to increase. He removes only to refine. If you lose something in this transition, know that it was not meant to carry the glory of the next season. Let it go. Trust the process. God is doing something divine through your detachment. In this new season, discernment must become your compass. You must be able to distinguish noise from the voice. Culture will shout, people will advise, but only the voice of God brings peace in the storm and fire in the bones. You cannot afford to follow emotions. You must follow instruction, because the time for wavering is over. This is a season for decisive action, for radical faith, for full surrender. God is not impressed by our eloquence, our strategy, or our strength. What moves Him is obedience. When a soul yields, heaven moves. When a heart surrenders, miracles manifest. And this season will not be unlocked by logic, but by obedient faith. The kind of faith that packs up when there's no map. The kind that plants seeds in dry ground. The kind that speaks yes before the how is explained. And let me speak directly to the one who feels unqualified. You were never meant to qualify yourself. That is God's job. And if He called you, then He has also equipped you. His presence is your qualification. His guidance is your insurance. His plan is your provision. Stop disqualifying yourself based on your past, your mistakes, your brokenness. If God has spoken over you, then what He says outweighs everything that has ever tried to define you. You've allowed fear to sit at the table of your destiny for too long. You've entertained doubts that were never meant to be your companions. But now is the time to stand up and reclaim your authority. Not because you're powerful, but because you are backed by the one who is. Fear cannot go with you. Timidity cannot build what God is calling you to construct. You must rise with boldness, not rooted in ego, but in the certainty of God's voice. There is a reason God is speaking to you now. Because the season has shifted. Because the ground is ready. Because heaven is in motion. What you've prayed for is near, but not automatic. You must take the step. You must activate the faith. You must prove that you're not only a listener, but a doer. That's the kind of vessel God trusts with influence, with impact, with divine outcomes. And do not despise small beginnings in this new season. For what starts as a whisper can become a wildfire when God breathes on it. He is not asking you to finish it all in one day. He is asking you to start. He is asking you to move with what you have. He is asking you to trust Him with what you cannot see. That first step may be quiet, but in the heavens it sounds like thunder. Let me say this clearly. God is not waiting for you to be perfect. He's waiting for you to be willing. He doesn't need you to have every answer. He needs you to give Him your whole heart. If you will move in faith, He will move in power. If you will offer obedience, He will pour out revelation. If you will give your steps, He will order your path. What's coming will not look like what's behind you. Stop expecting old methods to yield new results. God is pouring new oil. He is birthing new vision. He is awakening new strength, and you must be ready to receive it. This is not the time to recycle old strategies or dwell on past victories. It's time to be freshly anointed for what's ahead. The old ways were for survival. This new season is about dominion. The old prayers were about deliverance. The new ones will be about assignment. God is not just bringing you out, He is planting you in a place of purpose. And that purpose comes with power, with responsibility, with divine influence. You are being called higher, not for your name to be lifted, but so God's will may be fulfilled through your life. So remove the distractions, silence the noise, dismiss the lies that say you're not enough, and lean into what God is saying. His instruction is life, His command is direction, and His timing is perfect. Even now He is making a way. Even now He is aligning resources, setting appointments, opening gates. The heavens are declaring, "Move, child, your time is now." You must decide. Will you stay comfortable in your history, or will you walk in the risk of obedience that leads to destiny? God is not calling you to repeat the cycles of the past. He is calling you to break them, to end them, to forge a new path for those who come after you. You are not just stepping into your future, you are birthing legacy. And as you walk, expect resistance, but do not fear it. Expect pressure, but do not retreat. Expect testing, but do not faint. Because every ounce of pressure is producing purpose. Every trial is sharpening discernment. Every delay is teaching patience. God wastes nothing, not your pain, not your waiting, not even your questions. It all leads to His glory when placed in His hands. Then lift your head and listen. Because God is not just telling you to move, He is awakening your destiny. There is a divine urgency in the atmosphere. This is not business as usual. This is not just another season. This is a supernatural repositioning, a holy transformation ordained by God before the foundations of the earth were laid. You are not standing on ordinary ground. You are standing at the edge of divine acceleration. What has taken others decades to accomplish, God will accomplish in you in a moment, if only you are willing to obey. This is the hour when the hesitant will be left behind and the obedient will rise. This is the hour when the quiet will roar, the wounded will be healed, and the rejected will be crowned. Not because of human effort, not because of personal strength, but because God is lifting the humble and silencing the proud. When He moves, no one can stop it. No plan of man can reverse it. And right now, He is calling youth. You may say, "But I'm not ready." But readiness in the kingdom of God is not measured by experience, it is measured by surrender. God does not call the qualified, He qualifies the called. And if He has placed His hand upon you, then no opposition, no circumstance, no voice from your past can disqualify what God has anointed. He is not asking for perfection, He is demanding faithfulness. That is the currency of heaven. That is the weight that moves mountains. This is not a suggestion, it is a spiritual command. Move, because God is about to make your name known, not for your glory, but for His divine purpose. He will use your life as a sign. He will use your obedience as a testimony. When others see you rise, they will say, "Surely the hand of God is upon them." But first, you must leave the land of excuses. You must abandon the comfort of delay, because in this season, obedience is breakthrough. Let God speak to your inner man. Let Him awaken what this world tried to bury. Let Him breathe into the dry places of your heart. You've silenced the dream long enough. You've lived beneath your potential for too long. But God is declaring enough. He is shaking the dust off your vision, reigniting the purpose in your bones. It's time to walk into what has been waiting for you all along. There is a land of promise you've never stepped into because you feared the giants. But giants are not obstacles to God. They are evidence that the land is rich, that the harvest is great, and that the blessing is worth the battle. Stop asking God to remove the giants and start asking Him for the strength to slay them, because the reward is on the other side of your faith, not your fear. And don't you worry about what people will say. Don't you fear their opinions or their judgment. They didn't see the nights you cried. They didn't witness the days you walked in silence, clinging to the only thing left, your faith in God. Let them talk. Let them doubt. While they speculate, you will elevate. While they hesitate, you will dominate. Because you are not walking with their approval, you are walking with God's command. This season will test your loyalty to God. It will stretch your ability to trust when you cannot trace. It will confront every false idol, every reliance on self, every craving for comfort. God is stripping away what's temporary to anchor you in what's eternal. If it's shaking, let it shake. If it's falling, let it fall. What is not rooted in God must be removed. What is not born of God must be buried. Don't ask God for new ground if you're still clinging to old chains. Don't ask Him to open new doors if you're unwilling to walk away from what He's already closed. This is the moment of decision, and your destiny will not be delayed any longer unless you choose to stay behind. But if you rise, if you move, if you obey, watch how fast God will move on your behalf. He is not only moving you forward, He is pulling down strongholds. He is lifting up new standards. He is pouring out fresh oil, and He is positioning you not just for blessing, but for influence. The blessing is not the end goal. The influence is not the final reward. The goal is always obedience to God, alignment with His will, and fulfillment of your purpose. And let me speak directly to your hidden pain, the kind no one sees, the kind you've buried beneath a strong exterior. God has seen it. God has collected every tear, and what you thought would destroy you, He is now using as the foundation for your assignment. That betrayal, it taught you discernment. That rejection, it deepened your dependence on Him. That failure, it killed your pride. Nothing was wasted. God will recycle your suffering into spiritual power. That's why you must move, because the pain has served its purpose. The fire has done its work. The season of refining is over, and the season of rising has come. God is calling you out of the cave, out of the shadows, out of survival mode. You are not meant to crawl into your calling. You are meant to run toward it, clothed in authority and driven by divine conviction. But you must protect your focus. You must silence every voice that tries to reattach you to who you used to be. There will be whispers from your past. There will be voices of doubt. But you must choose whose voice matters. When God says move, every other voice must be silenced beneath the weight of His authority. This is your responsibility to move. When He speaks, there will be opposition, but God will cover you. There will be loss, but God will restore you. There will be battles, but God will fight them. There will be unknowns, but God will lead you. This is not the path of the weak-hearted. It is the path of the willing-hearted. You don't need all the strength. You need all the surrender. Because in this new season, the old rules don't apply. God is about to fast-track what took others years. He is about to open doors in high places. He is about to elevate your voice in rooms you were never invited to. And it will not be because of your connections. It will be because of your submission. God is preparing to show you what happens when a life is fully yielded to Him. You've seen glimpses. You felt the stirrings. But now He is saying it's time to walk in the fullness. It's time to embody what I placed in you. Stop living small when God made you for impact. Stop hiding when He has called you to influence. Stop shrinking when He has anointed you to stand tall. This is not just your season, it is God's season through you. It is His plan, His agenda, His power, and His glory flowing through a surrendered vessel, and that vessel is you. If you will move when He says move, if you will trust when it's unclear, if you will obey when it's uncomfortable, then the floodgates will open. The heavens will respond, and what was delayed will suddenly accelerate into manifestation. Let the world watch in wonder as you rise. Let the doubters be silenced by the evidence of God's hand on your life. Let the winds blow, let the storms rage, because your house is not built on sand, it is built on the rock of obedience. And that obedience will carry you into the season you've longed for, prayed for, and cried for. And when the dust settles and you look around at the evidence of God's power, you will not boast in yourself. You will lift your hands and say, "This was the hand of God. This was His doing, and it is marvelous in my eyes." And now stand still just for a moment and feel the weight of this holy calling. Let every word settle in your bones, not as mere inspiration, but as divine instruction. This is not just a message, it is a mandate from God, a summons to rise, to walk, to move, not in fear, not in flesh, but in full alignment with the God who called you. You've hovered on the brink of breakthrough for far too long. You've walked the same wilderness in circles one time too many. You've waited, questioned, doubted, and postponed. But now God is calling you into a new season, not because the road will be simple, but because it is ordained. Not because you are perfectly prepared, but because He goes with you as you take the next step. Let go of the weight of what was and welcome the wonder that is coming. God has gone ahead of you. The path has been made ready. The door stands open. All that remains is for you to walk through. With each step, chains will fall. With each move, heaven will answer. And with every act of obedience, the power of God will rush into your life in a way you've never known. Your new season is not a maybe. It is a reality waiting on your yes. When you give yourself fully, humbly, and boldly, nothing will ever be the same again. Now move, because God is waiting.